This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business, politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Sunil Ishairzay. Sunil, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do.
So, my name is Sunil Ishairzay, and I am currently actually involved in a lot of philanthropic work. The main group I'm working with is ACL.
And what does ACL do?
So ACL is mainly in rural development, so integrated
rural development in India.
Rural development in India, and it's holistic rural development, covering all the aspects. So the 4 areas they cover are literacy, in development, empowerment, and also the idea of getting people to integrate, and healthcare.
Very good. So, I was with President Obama. I traveled to India, and as a part of the India CEO conference there, and there were a lot of discussion on the digital media and the digital Indian movements by the prime ministers. So they've allocated several cities in India to do that. So tell me a little bit about what's the digital India movement by the prime ministers, and what are some of the initiatives that the Digital India that your foundation, ACL, is doing in rural villages?
Okay, so first of all, the Digital India movement was initiated by Prime Minister Modi on July 1, 2015. And the main idea is to connect India, so connect it in as many ways as possible, and especially connecting the rural areas to the cities. And by doing this, what he wants to achieve is he wants to have digital or an infrastructure involving electricity and internet. And then delivery of services, so e-governance, helping, using digital automation to bring governance, making things easier. As you are aware, if you guys have ever been to India or who is from India, how difficult it is to get anything done. So the idea is by automating a lot of the functions of government, he can take out, and also accountability will come in. So this will make things happen faster. You don't have to wait, months to get a passport or months to get.
So let's suppose I want to get a passport. I live in a rural village in India. How do I go about doing that, and what did the digital media do to me?
Okay, so
give an example to illustrate your point.
Okay, excellent. So right now the first issue is internet, or getting access.
So getting access to internet.
Okay. So that's the first initiative. So to get people to connected, before even internet, we need electricity.
Okay.
So
and the electricity is a rare commodity.
Exactly.
A precious possession, but a rare commodity in India.
Exactly.
As it turns out, the rural villages that I have visited in India, and especially in UP, eastern part of the UP, which is Azamgarh, which is where I was born, they don't have a power most of the time.
Nope.
So so how is this going to impact the influence on people's lives, make it better? Which is a good initiative, but just tell us a little bit about how this initiative is working, what happened, the success story, and what are the things they're doing.
Okay, so the first idea is to roll out, get electricity, and not only electricity, but they want to focus on clean electricity, renewable energy electricity, solar, wind power, and that it can actually work in India, because in the villages you can get access to this, because it's harder to bring infrastructure electricity than it is to bring renewable electricity. It's very easy to put a lot of solar panels in a village on top of the roofs than it is to bring a power plant and bring.
You're right.
In that way. So that's one way. So by leapfrogging, using new technologies, what they're managing to do is electrify India quicker. And so a lot of villages have, not a lot of villages, but a lot of, actually 300 villages part of the Smart Village program. And these 300 villages are clusters in pretty much every state, starting with Gujarat, Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And
there's one in UP also, in
Exactly.
Allahabad, if I remember correctly. When I was there, they talked about it, right?
Exactly. And like I said, almost every state has this initiative, which is called the Smart Village Initiative. And that is to bring this renewable energy electricity. And they're doing it quite remarkably.
So renewable energy is mostly the solar part of panels.
What
about the biofuel? Is there any talks about that too?
Well, the thing is when you're looking at bring electricity, you have to have something that's scalable and can be done quickly. They're using all kinds of initiatives. They're trying hydro, they're trying bio, they're trying wind. So basically looking at the area and the region, whatever they have available in the area, that's what they use. And it goes back to the old Gandhi concept of the village, where let's use the resources we have around us and make the most of it.
So what does your foundation, Sunil, does in order for you to integrate with the movement that the Prime Minister Modi has, and what kind of success story do you have?
Well, that's a very good question. So ECO actually met with Prime Minister Modi.
The foundation chief met, which is Vinod,
Yes.
Right?
Well, Vinod, and then also our global chairman, who is Subhash Chandra, head of ESL Group, or ZTV, met with...
Oh, okay. I did not realize the ZTV is, so the fellow who runs the ZTV is a chairman of this ECO Foundation.
Yes, he's chairman of the ECO Global Foundation, correct.
Okay, very good. And Vinod Jhunjhunwala, who's a dear friend of mine, he's the founder of this foundation.
Well, he's not actually, his family is one of the founders,
Okay.
but he himself...
He lives in New Jersey, if I remember.
Exactly, and he's the president of ECO USA.
Okay.
So ECO actually is a large organization that has almost 50 chapters in the US itself, and then of course running 55,000 village is in India and almost impacting more than 1.5 million children and 7 million individuals. So they're pretty extensive in their work. That's why the Prime Minister Modi wanted to meet with ECO and say, how can we do this? Because they had the team to implement it. They had the largest volunteer base to go ahead and implement the smart village programs. So by doing this, that's how ECO got involved in the initiative, or I would call it the Digital India movement.
Digital India movement. So you're well integrated into the Digital India movement of Prime Minister Modi's vision, correct?
Exactly. So this occurred on February 8th in 2016, and then before that, what happened was actually ECO approached us, my team, which is I have an organization called Earthopia. And what our team does...
And what's the name of the organization?
Earthopia.
Okay. So you're a full-time employee of ECO Foundation?
I'm not an employee. Actually, I'm a volunteer for ECO.
Wow, very nice. So
and
you give your time to the foundation because you strongly believe and firmly believe in their vision and values to help especially the villagers in India.
Exactly. So, and actually this goes an extension of what we do at Earthopia, which is Earthopia uses new technologies to leapfrog into more sustainable and current energy sources, education. So the idea is to go into the village, getting and using more sustainable methods to develop. So first thing we did with ECO was the first Digital India project, which is actually preceded before the Digital India rollout, and we named it, of course, Digital ECO, but we brought an internet tower into one of the villages. It's in Karanjo, India, which is in Jharkhand. So Jharkhand, if people are not familiar, is a very tribal region.
And where is that?
And Jharkhand is in the north.
Okay. Part of the India?
Exactly, northeast part of India, right below Bengal, West Bengal.
Sunil, tell me a little bit about success stories of this digital movement which is taking place in India. Have you had a good success stories that you can share with our audience?
Actually, yes, we do. And like I was getting earlier, so we brought this digital initiative to this village in Karanjo. Karanjo had very limited electricity, no internet connectivity, no computer access. So in this village, then what we did was, the first thing we did was, let's bring electricity. So we brought solar electricity.
So that's the first step.
Exactly.
Bringing the solar. And then the second step to get the internet.
Yeah, so the next step we did was we brought a internet, and what we contacted the local internet providers that we could find in the area, and Vodafone was one of them, and we initiated an internet tower.
Okay.
So we got actually 3G internet.
And who paid for all these things?
So it was a lot of collaboration among a lot of groups.
With the government or
No,
with a lot of groups?
Well,
private institutions?
Actually, the government played a very minimal role. Most of it was other organizations, and private and nonprofit.
Okay. So that's what you're already doing. What's your vision? If I talk to you 2 years from now, Sunil, what will be the strategy that you have taken, the initiative is going to, what kind of a dividend is going to pay?
So
2 years from now.
2 years from now. So
I intend to visit India in February, so
Okay.
maybe I can go
Definitely,
to
and
I would like to go to some place if I can to see the progress.
excellent. Yeah, actually, I'd love to have you visit Karanjo or any of one of our.
I'm not really sure if it's too far from where I live,
Okay.
what I'm going to go, but that's okay.
Okay. So the idea here is we created a model of, like I explained in the beginning, incorporating these infrastructure ideas. So first we brought the electricity, solar. Second, we brought internet, which through this tower. And then the thing is this is all good. These are only tools. Now we have to engage the public to get them to use it. Remember, and these are villagers that have never had access to these kind of,
So that's the third step, engaging the public.
Exactly.
And how the reaction has been from public, Sunil, so far?
It was,
Well, obviously they like the idea.
of course. At first they were kind of a little hesitant because
Which you expected.
Yes. So any new thing coming, and especially in India, when new stuff comes, people are a little leery and they are
Yeah,
cautious, and they don't want to get exploited, and they're protective of the society and the children.
Okay.
So the first thing was how would they? So we had to go around from village to village showing what are the tools they can use. Like the farmers could use tools to weather forecasting. The children can use tools to learn English. So we connected with IIT Bombay to bring a lot of these products. So in that process, so now we had the infrastructure, we needed people to help us bring content. So this is where IIT Bombay came in, and they brought a few ideas. One is spoken tutorial, which is a very easy self-learning English program. So that was initiated. Later on, we have a full digital literacy program that we are spreading to the village. Now, what happened was, as we couldn't get the villagers to come, so like Swami Vivekananda said, is if you can't get the villagers to come, then you have to go to the villagers. Mm-hmm. So we actually created a bus, or it's a mobile digital unit that has about 20 laptops that goes from village to village teaching digital literacy. So now we're engaging the population. Come try out the laptops, try out the ideas, and learn how to use these tools to help yourselves.
Okay, so you got the internet, you're going to teach them. What's the next step after that?
So once they learn all this, then
so they don't have to learn all the technology.
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah,
have
no.
to learn the basic stuff to use the internet,
right.
Correct?
Exactly. And again, technology, ICT is a tool.
Okay.
And
what's ICT stands for?
Okay, Internet Computer Technology.
Okay.
And so by using this, what they can do is then it's their job to ask the questions, what do I need? So the farmers need certain things, the children need certain things, the women in the community need certain ideas. So the idea is to empower them individually, let them ask the question. It's a bottom-up approach on what your need, and then we give them the tools to help them. Farmers need, weather forecasting, soil conditions, ideas about what's happening. Children want to learn how to speak English. They want to learn how to, find information on the internet. Get more knowledge. Actually, the women are more engaged even in the farming aspect and teaching the children. So they're actually the most receptive of all the groups, because they're like very interested in helping their community. And also the women are taking a role in empowerment and keeping accountability. So they're using the internet to use the RTI, which is the Right to Information Act,
wow.
and engaging in that local officials to come and do the things that they were supposed to do. So
Okay.
there's a lot of great things happening with this. And going back to your...
So has it make any impact or influence in making the people's life a little bit better so far?
So far, the thing...
And you see a brighter horizon.
Oh, of course. I mean, this is what's happening is now the villagers, the farmers, have added value to their produce. They can see prices in the market, and they can get a better price for the product. They can also see...
a better price for... So what about the fact that they do not have a transportation system to transport some of the produce that they have, mm-hmm. because of the fact they get rotted? Mm-hmm. In their warehouse and things like that. How are you helping with those kind of things? As I understand, 40% mm-hmm. of the produce does not get to the market in India.
Exactly, because what's happening is there's no local consumption.
Yes.
And everybody is producing products only that are good for the middlemen or the brokers. So the idea is to have the farmers engage in production of local products. So more vegetables, more of local consumption, so they can start working within their own community and trading among themselves. And then if
The trading themselves?
Yes.
But how do they transport that thing to the market?
so what it is we're creating local village markets.
Okay, okay.
So the idea is to localize. So by doing that, they're creating their own economy, and then if they want to, they can engage in a larger production, and we're connecting with, and then this is the other thing, they're actually, through this media, they're connecting with people, and like WhatsApp and this different ways.
So that's the connection to get the
Yes.
to get the transportation if they need to do.
Exactly.
And also improve their product, improve their services, make it more cost effective.
Yeah, and these are small solve initiatives. I'm not saying this is happening everywhere, but individual farmers are figuring out ways to do that. So a farmer contacts a local buyer and says, "Oh, I have this. Are you interested?" "Yes." Let's figure out where to get it to you.
So how do you see the future of digital India and digital eco?
So I think the digital eco, more on the rural side, is supporting digital India by bringing almost 700,000 villages or 700 million people into the greater economy. And also, not only that, they're also giving them a voice, giving them access to things that they were not before available. And the things I haven't talked about, the greater impacts are healthcare. With digital eco, we are actually helping frontline workers have access to medical information. So they go into a village, they can identify diseases, they can identify.
How they can identify the disease?
So they have.
So they do a Google search. I got a cold. So how does that help?
Well, actually, they go into the village with a tablet.
What kind of tablet?
It's like just a standard Samsung Android
Okay.
tablet.
Oh, you're talking about the electronic tablet.
Electronic tablet.
Yeah.
They go in, and in the tablet is preloaded all types of diseases and some of the cures, and then just how to identify. So by doing that, the frontline worker can sit down and say, okay, you have a temperature, you have this, you have that, and then from that, see what's okay. This, it's malaria. It's
So so they identified the problems. So that's the first step towards that. So who's going to diagnose them with the problem? The third thing, how they're going to get access to the medication?
Excellent. So what happens is, of course, the frontline worker they're not experts. So what they do is they tap into experts by communication and say, okay, this is what's happening. What do you what do you prescribe?
So they get access to the doctors.
Exactly.
And doctors said, well, here's your symptoms, here's your diagnostic, here's the information, here's the medication you need, and by the way, this is the place you go and get the medication. Correct?
Exactly. Or if they're an ACO, even taking it one step further, if the doctor says, oh, this person needs some serious help, get him to a hospital quick, then the ACO volunteer picks the person up, transports them to the nearest hospital.
Well, this is a wonderful thing to do. So you're saving the people's life. You also making the people's life better. You also having so much impact and influence. So is this some kind of thing we can use in America also?
Actually, it's a great question because we have a lot.
Well, because you have been blessed because the fact that the Ekel Foundation founder and everybody else have been beneficiary of generosity of America. And we are helping India, which is a far place from here, but it's America that provided the opportunity for all of us to succeed. So it's time for us to give back to America. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's a great thing you brought up because ACO is not only present in India, it's also present, as I said, in the U.S. They have 55 chapters, and we are also engaged in the local community. We are working here with John Hopkins. We just had a great seminar at Hopkins last 2 to 3 weeks back, where all the great ideas in mHealth, mobile health, came together and said, what can we do for villages in India and communities in USA?
United States.
Because the parallels are the same. As if I'm working in a village in India, same way the community in West Virginia or Mississippi can get a lot of the same benefits. Renewable energy, internet, healthcare.
Yes. So what about the other part of the world? Africa has a lot of problem too.
Well, we can expand this scalable
All over the world, yeah.
all over, because the model, as I showed you in the beginning, it has the elements that can be taken and put anywhere, and that's great. Of course, our focus is India, and we have a lot of work there. I mean,
Well, but remember, it's the United States taxpayer is helping and funding these, all these initiatives you take in India.
Right.
It's the United States has to be beneficiary as well.
exactly.
So, is there any success story in America?
Well, like I said, actually, we are working with people from HHS, Health and Human Services. We had Dr. Calvo with us, who's from HHS. So all these people we're having a lot of dialogue, engaging how we can use this model or these technologies that we're developing in India and here in America or anywhere in the world. And yeah, this is...
So if someone has idea in the audience, it goes, this message or this interview goes broader to the, not only this country, all over the world. How did they get hold of Ekal Foundation? How they contact the people and how they can help you towards the mission and the vision and the goals and objective that you have?
Great. So there's two, actually. If you want to do locally, it's ekaldc.org, EKALDC.org. And if you want to go to the national, it's ekal.org, EKAL.org.
Well, thank you very much, Sunil, for shedding the light and the bright light, as a matter of fact. So thank you very much for your service to our country, to our community. You inspire all of us to do well, but do good, which is what you're doing. Do good.
Thank you. And we get our inspirations from people like you. We're following in the footsteps of people that have laid the groundwork.
Sure. We laid the firm foundation for you to flourish.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again for coming here. This is Frank Islam wishing you a great week, and thank you for watching.